All right, this is Boxing with the Truth, and I am the Truth, and it's April 15, 2015, and today we have Dennis the Hurricane Hogan. And if you've never heard of him, boxing fans, there might be a reason for that. He's not actually from America. We actually have an Irish fighter coming from Australia for your viewing pleasure. Actually, he's actually fighting Tyrone Brunson April 17th, Grand Casino, Hinkley, Minnesota. So if you can make the fight, make the fight. If not, turn in the CBS Championship Boxing, 9 p.m. Central. He's in the main event, and he is actually 20-0 with 1 draw, 7 knockouts. He's fighting again, like I said, Tyrone Brunson, who's coming from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. 22 wins, 21 knockouts, 4 losses, and 3 draws. How you doing, Dennis?
How you going, John? Very good, mate.
So let's just go over a few little facts. I appreciate you taking time to do an interview with me. Like I said, you're coming all the way from Australia. I hope your flight was good. I hope the Minnesota fans and the Hinkley staff are treating you okay.
Everything's been excellent. The flight over was good, and we were just saying just earlier how good the staff are here, how friendly everyone is, and how much of a good environment it is here. So everything's been excellent.
Okay, and you're actually 30 years old, and you fight at super welterweight, right?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, and I already put your pro record out there. And I also want to say that you actually are the longest undefeated. You hold the longest undefeated record of any active Irish boxer in the world, right?
That's correct, yes.
That's pretty impressive.
Thank you. I think Carl Frampton next as well, so Carl Frampton's right up there with me as well, so.
Okay, well, definitely we appreciate you coming all the way here to America. I know this is only your second fight in America. You did your debut over in New York, and that ended up being a disqualification. So hopefully we get to see you fight a lot more rounds. I believe that was in the 4th round.
That's correct, yeah.
So hopefully the American fans will get to see you a lot longer. This actually, I didn't mention, but it is actually a vacant WBA-NABA USA Super Welterweight title that you guys are fighting for, right?
That's right, yeah.
So, and also I did mention this is actually on CBS Championship Boxing. Have you fought on TV before?
Yes, I've had, I think, at least 4 fights of my professional career have been on TV in Australia and that. So, Fox Sports I've fought on in Australia, so I'm quite used to the big events and the cameras and everything else. You know, actually, if anything, it makes me feel a bit better too. So, you know, I've got that to look forward to.
Okay, and I just want to take a step back so some of the fans over here in America can learn a little bit more about you and the Minnesota fans. You've actually had about a little over 150 amateur fights, right?
Yep.
And you actually won the All-Ireland Light Heavyweight Championship.
Yep.
But now, just a few years ago, you got a neck injury. How serious was that? Did that almost end your career, or was it not that bad?
Well, it could have been a career-ending injury, as I slipped the disc in that, so I had to obviously get it operated on. You know, and with these procedures, there's risks and that of nerve damage and that. So if there had been a bit of nerve damage, you know, my arms wouldn't be 100%, and I would have had to give boxing away. So it was risky. It was a bit of an anxious time, but I got a great surgeon over Ireland, and yeah, he looked after me and did the operation successful, and ever since that, there hasn't been a problem. So.
All right, well, that's good to hear that there's not a problem with it anymore, and that you can continue with your career. So.
Yeah.
Also, I want to mention a few titles actually that you hold that some people might not be aware of. In 2011, you won Queensland Super Middleweight title. 2012, you won Queensland Middleweight title. 2013, you won Celtic Middleweight title. 2014, you won the WBA Oceania Light Middleweight title. And then
Continental title, yeah.
Okay, and in 2014, you were voted Australian Champion of the Year.
That's correct, yeah.
And right now you are currently number 10 in the world with the IBF and number 12 with the WBA.
Yep, that's correct.
All right. And I just want to touch briefly on, so the fans might understand what this is. What is the Green Army?
Green Army is every time I fight, I always get a big contingent of people. You know, in Australia, I get a couple of I get Australians, and also being Irish, I get lots of Irish, and there's always a sea of green whenever I'm fighting. So it's been named the Irish Army or the Green Army. Sorry. So you know, yeah, but it's been unreal. You know, I'm very appreciative of the support I've got, and it's got me to where I am today. And if you ever get a chance to see Green Army in action, it's quite an atmosphere for a boxing fight.
Okay, and now you're not obviously going to have a lot of your fans over here in Hinkley, Minnesota, but back home, are they going to be at the pubs? Are they having big parties? Are they going to be able to watch this fight and watch you live?
There's a lot of people trying to make big plans, all right, and I get messages of, you know, is there a link? You know, I get messages every 5 minutes. So I just have to tell everyone that I'm not sure. I don't think there's a link. I think it's just being shown on CBS Sports Network here in America, and I don't think it's going out live anywhere else. But I do believe you can watch it afterwards again on the CBS website. So I think that's the best people can hope for. But yeah, people were looking to get together and you know, and watch the fight and stuff. But it just didn't turn out that way, unfortunately.
Okay, and just so people do understand about the Green Army, because I might have missed this in the beginning, even though I mentioned you were coming from Australia, you're actually an Irish fighter that was born in Ireland and moved to Australia, and you fight out of Australia.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I moved to Australia 4 years ago to start my professional career. Yeah, it's been a good move and that, but yeah, I'm Irish and that, but I'm a resident of Australia, so. Yeah.
And so how was your background in Ireland? How did you come up? How did you get involved in fighting?
To start it off, my grandfather was a boxing coach of the local club in Naas, and from a very early age, like, I was brought along and just used to go and eventually fighting competitively at 11, and then just kicked on from there and just boxed, you know, every year for the rest of my life.
Okay. Now, let's talk a little bit about you and Tyrone Brunson, the fight coming up. Like I did mention, it is April 17th, Grand Casino, Hinkley, Minnesota. It is going to be televised, CBS Championship Boxing, 9 p.m. Central Time. Okay, now Tyrone Brunson, he's kind of an aggressive fighter. His record's a little deceiving if people really look at his opponents. Like I said, he is 22 wins, 21 knockouts. There's a lot of controversy about that because, now, I never blame the fighter because he doesn't choose his opponents. He just fights who gets put in the ring with him, but obviously the fans always blame the fighter. So if you look at a lot of these guys that he's knocked out, they could be considered Philadelphia taxi drivers for all we know, because these are pretty much no-name guys. They're not really, they don't really have good records. So his punching power could actually be deceiving a little bit. So he actually has 19 first-round knockouts, but like I said, if those were, you know, opponents that people were aware of, people would probably really look at that as something, you know, worthwhile. But are you worried about his power at all?
19 first-round knockouts is an unbelievable record. Anyone that can't take that seriously should not be in the sport of boxing. There's power there. He knew what he was doing. He knew what he was going to do, and he achieved that. You know, like those other guys that he fought, they were professional boxers. So I'm not taking anything cheaply, but you know, I fancy my defense a lot. You know, I'm always watching, I'm always moving, and I think I'm very, very, very hard to be caught. So, but all that, I have a great chin. So with all that taken in, I do believe that I've got what it takes to be able to not get caught. But again, looking back at the record there, like, I'm not taking anything for granted. I know Brunson's got power. He knows well how to finish a fight, and I just have to leave myself in the position to not let that happen.
Okay. Now, let's go to your record. Now, like I said, you're 20-0 with 1 draw, but you only have 7 KOs. So some people would say, well, the guy's undefeated, and he's fighting a guy with a lot of power that knocks people out in the first round, but he doesn't seem to have a lot of power. So now we got to look at the flip side. If you supposedly don't have a lot of power to get Brunson out of there to knock him out, how do you beat him?
You see that? I think that's the thing. That, like you said, like a tricky looking record. I've never been given a fight with a guy who's easy to get out of the ring anyway. And a couple of my fights probably should have been knockouts too. Also, I fancy myself to have a lot of power. I know there's a lot of power in these hands, and as soon as I get in against someone and I let them feel it, their game plan changes immediately. And if anyone takes it for granted, then I think they end up finding out when they're in the ring. And I've been working a bit more on my technique as well, which has made a big difference in my punch power. All that aside, I have the ability. I love boxing. I love getting in and actually just doing my thing in boxing. Like I just said, not looking for a kill, but I enjoy boxing. So I fancy myself to outbox anyone, but I do believe a knockout can come myself. I fully believe it. So either way, whatever way it happens, I'm confident of the win. So yeah.
So basically, this is a fight with 2 guys with 2 records that are basically kind of deceiving in 2 different ways. Their records honestly are. You don't have a lot of knockouts, so some people would think you might not have a lot of power. When you actually do have a lot of power, you've just fought a lot of tough guys. And vice versa, some people would think that Brunson might not have power, that a lot of those were just freak knockouts because he supposedly didn't fight anybody. But he does have a lot of power. So, I mean, this fight to me, I think could actually, if he comes in shape and claims that he's in the best shape of his career, that's what he claimed to me, and that he's ready, and that you need to be ready. And he even said to me that don't be surprised if he knocks you out. How do you respond to that statement?
Oh, look, man, every single opponent is going to want to do the worst. He would love to knock me out. He would love to beat me. And that's the same way I'm coming into it. But I just feel that that my preparations have been right. That throughout my life of boxing, I've learned all the skills and whatever it takes to win. Now, I go into fights. I'm not ever worried about the other fighter anyway. I'm always worried about what I need to do. My coach and that's he's had a look and all that, but I haven't looked that much at Brunson because I don't feel I'll react to the boxer that's put in front of me. So I'm confident in my ability, and that's just the way it is for me. That's the only way I look at it. It wouldn't matter to me what's on someone's record. I will never underestimate a fighter, but I will go in there with full confidence of my ability, and that's the way I look at it.
Okay, so what can the fans expect to see in the main event in Hinkley, Minnesota? Because he's an aggressive fighter, he comes forward. You're an aggressive fighter, you come forward. Your hands are very fast. I mean, you throw a lot of combinations. So why should the fans come out to see 2 guys that the Minnesota fans have never heard of?
Well, for the explosion, I suppose. I know he's going to come first in the first couple of rounds. That's just what I believe. I'm ready if he doesn't. If he does or he doesn't. But I'm also an excellent counter puncher. So I think that the 2 styles is going to make for an amazing fight.
Okay, well, I actually agree with you.
I
I agree with you. After doing research on both of you guys, I'm really excited to actually shoot this fight because I think it's going to be an explosive fight. I think there's going to be a lot of hard hitting, a lot of punches. And I mean, me personally, I would love to see it go the distance just for the fact that I'm a huge boxing fan and I'd love to watch a war. But
yeah.
Do you have any types of superstitions or rituals or habits that you need to do before a fight?
Oh, there's a couple of little things, alright, not much, not worth mentioning, I suppose, but yeah, there's a couple of little stuff there. Like, I have to wear the same socks that I've worn throughout my professional career. Just little things like that, you know, just little things I do and little mannerisms that I will carry on the day and stuff. But yeah.
Okay, also I wanted to bring up the fact, in Brunson's interview, he brought up the fact that he felt that you were talking trash on social media about him. What's all that about?
Okay, I don't know if he said it or meant it that way, but, well, I don't know why he would say it, because, man, I've not said anything like that. Man, we do our own thing on social media. I keep all the supporters are on the page. I keep everyone in the loop about how I'm feeling and how I'm going, and I never even made predictions. I never even make predictions when I'm on there, and if anything, he come onto my page to say, "I hope you're ready, my man." So so we just clicked on and done a post to say, this guy's ready for a good fight, because he's come on to the page here and he's wrote that. So we were only really saying what he said, really. Yeah, that's all I can think of, because there was nothing said on my team's part to give any sort of trash talk. I've never trash talked in my life, so.
Okay, well, I mean, instead of trash talking, because you don't trash talk, do you have a message for Brunson before the fight?
No, I'll see him in the ring.
Okay, well, that's easily put. So anything you would like to say to your fans out there in Ireland or Australia, or your new fans in America, the Minnesota fans that are coming out to watch you?
Yes, look, just thank you very much for all the support. It means the world to me. It's got me to where I am today. And, I get messages from fans even in countries like Germany and all other places and stuff. So I just want to thank you all very much for all the messages, support. I will get around to reading them all and get back to you if I can. Thank you.
All right. And the truth has spoken.